chance, right? They're just talking about, they don't even read your body language or your facial expressions. Like, you're not interested,
Absolutely.
obviously not interested anymore. They still go on.
Absolutely, yes. Yes, you're absolutely right. As it sounds, a marriage can be superficial.
Yeah. I think it happens a lot. If you just look around you, you observe the married friends that you have, you know the whether there is depth or not. To me, it's very obvious, but everybody is like, it's very normal for the husband to tell the wife off in public, or the wife telling the husband off.
Yes.
Right? It's like,
yes. It's quite Asian.
Using someone as a drug.
As a drug, okay. I thought it was crutch. Drug, okay.
Yeah.
That's worse.
Where did this idea come from to have this topic? Can you remember?
You suggested it.
Oh, I did?
It came from you, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I think it might have been a social media post that I saw where people are using people as,
to
I
feel
think
good.
to feel good about themselves, or to use someone like medicine, like I guess maybe because of the work I do, so people have a tendency to want to do that, like they would, I don't know, maybe social settings just dominate the whole conversation to talk about. I mean, even
be heard.
maybe like there's a big group, right, of
Yeah.
people, but they're like so focused on their problem, and they want to feel better, so they just use the whole group, like maybe to gain sympathy, to gain attention, to gain whatever. And so they use, in that sense, they're also using people as drug, right, to feel good.
Yeah.
And I guess in this day and age, social media does that.
Yeah, I guess all the eyeballs does something to the person who posted whatever, right? The likes and the interaction. There was it's like approval lah, it's like, oh, people like my post, and it made a difference to the point where they commented, or even shared it or whatever.
And I think people are so addicted to these sort of, like, they want approval, right, from people, or they want people to give them sympathy, or to ask them, hey, what happened to you, how are you, or they want that kind of attention,
and some acknowledgement of what they're going through.
I just find that a bit, for me, I find it very questionable. I don't know.
Okay, for me, I really dislike cryptic posts. Okay, but if you tell me, not cryptically, but factually, I had a meltdown, I think that's actually quite brave. And then, people will know, okay, you're at least seeking help, you are trying to heal. I'll encourage you. And I think that's great. And if you need the encouragement of your friends at this time, no one's gonna say, you're being vain or anything. Truly, you would need it, right? Yeah. But it's the cryptic ones.
Yes.
It's like, are you so he, as they say, like, what is this drama you're trying to roll out? You know what I mean? Like, are you really hurting, or you are just trying to hurt someone else with it that we don't know of, or we're trying to guess who it is, by getting people on your side or whatever.
We use people as drugs. If we want people to know our situation, we just tell them lah. Why?
Correct. And honestly, in that kind of situation, people who are close to you, whom you want to care for you and your situation, would already have been told by you somehow, through a one-on-one text.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not posted on social media. Your friends shouldn't find that out on social media.
Yes.
Right. It's also not
Yes.
very nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no. Obviously, there's an agenda when people post cryptic posts like that.
Yes. Yeah. There's always an agenda.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just spell it out lah.
Correct.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if it's a good thing, and you're being cheeky by being cryptic, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm going to reveal this amazing thing that I've done. I think that's fine. Yeah. Because no one's going to worry about you.
Exactly.
You know? The capo ones will like, chi, whatever lah. But your friends and people who are like neutral, they're like, oh, okay, whatever, let's just watch. But you make people worry. I mean, some people are silly enough to actually like get hooked into it and like, what happened to you? Oh no, this is terrible. Call me. I'm calling you. Why don't you answer? Yeah. I've seen those comments too. It's like quite ridiculous.
Yeah. I think sometimes these sort of things, right? There was this person that I knew. She killed herself actually.
Oh.
And she timed her social media posts to come out after she killed herself. So even at death, they're using people as drugs, which is so bizarre.
I know. Yeah, it's very twisted.
Very
pleasure, right? Yeah.
Very, very twisted. Yeah. And because I know how this person operates, right? And I did share with someone, I said, this person is so full of pride. And even if she had second thoughts, before she jumped off the building, she would do it because her post was already timed. She's that kind, that is so...
the horror of it.
Yeah. And so, we wanted to make sure that did she really do it or not. So someone go and check. I don't know where they go and check. I think you can, there is some government agency, I think, that you can see who passed on recently. And someone went to check, and true enough. Yeah. Which very is sad. Very sad, and obviously this person needed help when, but I think sometimes, as much as we want to help, you can't help people who don't want the help, who don't even see that there's a problem.
Absolutely, yeah. In the end, it's their decision, so
yes,
don't beat yourself up.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do. Yeah, really nothing.
Correct. And I also feel people who are at that point that their minds are not stable anymore. Their sense of reality is totally warped. So they've crossed the line. Yeah. It's quite inevitable. Yeah. Very sad. Yeah.
Yeah. But the way she writes, right, and all her posts has always been like the same type of flavor for years. It's just very strange, very odd. Yeah. Which is quite sad. Yeah. I mean, I feel sad for her family.
Of course.
Who have to go through that.
I think families that are plagued by suicide, very, very wounded. It's very hard. Yeah. It's not like any other death.
Yeah.
Sickness, accident, even murder, it's like that person didn't want to die. So, you can just, at least have that. Yeah. But when it's a suicide, it's like,
Yeah. It's terrible, right? You start to, I think the mind tripping just gets to you. Like, oh, was there more I could have done?
Correct.
The survival guilt, right? Yeah. Is so,
can
very
really wound all these family members down the line.
Yeah.
Dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah. So talking about people who use people as drugs, I've kind of like stopped seeing people who I feel that they use me as a drug. I don't socialize with them that much. Or not at all, even, maybe in fact for the last maybe a year where I just decide no lah. No, that's not how I want my energy to be spent. And if I do meet the same people, I will keep the boundary is very, very clear, right? I'll keep the conversation topic at the level where it doesn't go in that direction where I know that they're gonna,
sucking the life out of you.
yeah.
Taking all the air in the room, as they say, right?
Yeah. Yes. So I would leave early. I would, cut things off, or I will make it very clear, like, okay, this conversation is not, I'm going. This conversation is just getting odd or getting strange.
Yeah.
Right. And I would go.
Yeah.
And so I guess maybe it's this thing in my mind, right? That if you want to help people, then your help has to be unconditional. So I think growing up with that has made me too available to some people. As much as I always teach people about boundaries, but you get sucked in. You get sucked in. Yeah.
Then there are people who, when they get together, right, they are really like, they become very not nice to other people. Yeah, it's like they feed off each other's monsters. It's very strange. Yeah. But separately apart, they're actually pretty decent to be with. Yeah.
Yes.
It's almost like when they're together, something catches fire.
Yep.
Like there's air and then there's
the
spark, right? Yeah. And then it just starts burning in a bad way.
Yes. Yes.
I'm very scared of people like that.
Yeah.
Because you're not just dealing with one person. It's like a whole entity, like a chemical entity. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a third thing, right?
Right. It's very scary. Yeah.
I think it's very common in group dynamics. And the bigger the group, the worse it gets. Where maybe group dynamics, like, they come together because they have that one thing in common, whatever it may be, right? And that becomes like this monster.
I mean, it's a good thing that brings people together. Okay, fine, a very healthy, ordered thing. But sometimes within the group, there are just individuals that have something a bit, I don't know, off kilter that they enjoy.
Yeah.
And then, they just encourage each other.
Yes.
To be more and more out there. Yeah. I find that very scary.
Yeah. Do you think this is more common in men or women?
The recklessness bit, that recklessness characteristic makes me think men. More men. Women are still somehow, a bit more conservative and walk on the safer side. Yeah, rather than on the, I don't know. Yeah, I think like I dare you to do this. Okay, I dare you. Okay, let's do it. That kind of scary thing.
Yeah. I guess when they are younger, the daring thing, I dare you to do this, it's very common. I remember, with our friends, right, when we were out partying, when we were much, much younger, one of our friends would always dare someone to, oh, I dare you to go and buy the guy a drink. And this is like in the 80s, 90s, right? Yeah, late 80s, early 90s, where people do that. And, and it was very common at that time that I guess it became very normalized, where you like, oh, I dare you to go up to this guy to say hi, that sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Then then, if it turns out good, fine, but if it doesn't, the guy turns out to be a creep or whatever, then
good luck to you.
So this sort of behavior, I guess, maybe it's different in different life stages. Yeah. But there's certain behavior where you mention, like when they get together, the bad behavior. That one, I don't think it's a different type of bad behavior. As you get older,
yeah. Yeah, you don't actually do anything. It's I think a lot of gossiping.
Yes.
Yeah. Like once my gossip partner is there, oh, I'm feeding off her energy, right? Her gossip energy, and she feeds off mine, and then we both are willing to play.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I do notice that at midlife it tends to be more
Yeah. I've also noticed that some people are nicer when their so-called buddy is not around, right? They're nicer, they're pleasant, but once that extra person comes into the picture, they become really quite nasty.
like twins, right?
Yes.
Like, yeah, when they are apart, it's different. When they're together, and if they're naughty twins, I can imagine how bad it is.
Yeah. It's a kind of drug.
It's like having two of me. It's like, wow, imagine having two of you. The things you could do, right? You feel invincible, isn't it? Yeah. It's like, I stay at home and do this, you go out and do that, then we'll have the whole world to ourselves. We can dominate and conquer the world, right?
I think, okay, if we want to use the word drug, right? It can go both ways. It can be a good drug. It can be a bad drug.
Of course. Yeah. Can be a calming drug.
Yeah.
Clarity drug or a truth serum.
Yeah.
Where you cannot lie,
Or get tranquilized.
Fall asleep.
I think we can totally use people as drugs.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's what the person represents. Sometimes a person can be, we perceive this person as something, and I've noticed that people often want to be associated with a type of person, right? Whether they're well off, they're famous, they're rich.
Sure.
And they tend to behave differently. And they use these people as maybe drugs as well.
Yeah.
But
like
they call
a supplement, like, supplements,
Yeah.
To
And
boost themselves. Yeah.
And they may call it friendship when it's not. And when you see like, oh my God, like why are they behaving like this?
Like different. It's like codependence. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay, I really appreciate that this particular smallish group I'm a part of, and we have a group chat, that majority of the members now refuse to gossip.
Oh, that's good.
And they shut it down. I really love it. I mean, I don't even have to say anything. Someone else will shut it down. Yeah. So one person, this particular one person, always needs to either comment or complain. If it happened to her, it's a complaint. If it's like something that someone else experienced, it's a comment that she will throw out there, hoping that we will all join in. Yeah. So she threw out this complaint, but on the pretext, the tone was very self-pitying, and like, I don't understand why this happened to me kind of tone. But everyone was like wise to know that you're just fishing for a gossip session, on the pretext of feeling hurt. Yeah.
Because other people not in the chat is involved in the story.
They know the person that she's complaining about, or being sad that she was hurt by. We all know this other person. Yeah. But we were not involved in this thing that happened. And she just threw it out like, why do you think, she did that to me? Yeah. Like, no reply.
Oh no.
Then I think someone else, after a time, it was either me or someone else that asked like something totally different, like, hey, so are we gonna something else? Yeah. Then much later, someone else, which I thought shouldn't have lah, just said, oh, maybe she was having a bad day. Just say a prayer for her. But I just thought that you don't even need to say that, because I don't think that person was having a bad day. I think it was imagined. That I feel that that poor person is like being prayed over for nothing in that sense, like she didn't do anything wrong actually. I think lah, yeah. Yeah. Then there was another same person threw out something, but about something that not didn't happen to her, happened to someone else. Like she felt sorry for that person, but it was again fishing for a gossip. Then someone else just said, change topic, please. Like, yeah, let's not even go there. And I was like, oh, thank God. Like, I'm so glad. Like, there are people who also don't enjoy this gossiping thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are people who are not fond of the people being talked about. So kudos to them. It's not even like I'm defending my friend or anything, or I don't really know this person. It's like they also don't like these people, but they just don't want to go there. Because in the end, nothing good comes out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What for? Nobody wins, and nothing good happens. Yeah.
But how to gossip on a group chat?
Oh, very easy. What you
You
say?
peop-
You say something about someone that I also am not fond of. Very easy, especially when you know that the rest of us don't really care for this person. Oh man,
You'll catch fire.
it will catch fire. Yeah, it's like dry leaves on a hot day. Yeah, if it's a neutral, yeah, maybe it's very hard. Yeah. But when it's people you also don't like, yeah, it's this tendency to like add on, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
We refuse to be used as drugs.
Yes, good idea.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm very active in group chats. I mean, other than just for my business networking, just drop one line, two lines, but nothing.
More formal. Those are more formal chats, right?
More
Yeah.
formal.
Yeah.
And then with friends, certain groups, we are always talking about what's happening in the world. Like we share
Current affairs.
information or good videos or so rarely, I mean, I don't think I've ever maybe I wouldn't call it gossip, but more like dropping a funny line about encounter with someone that we all know, but that's it, like there's no going on about it, sort of thing. I think in terms of using people as drugs, I think a lot of married couples do that. Right?
Like to each other?
To each other. They and sometimes not in a good way lah. Like they become the relationship just is not healthy, and they just feed off each other's neurosis or each other's whatever, right, that's going on within their own inner dynamics, and they just use each other back and forth like ping pong, and I think especially in midlife we see this far more often. But then because it's very normalized by society, I've witnessed this, where like a husband would put the wife down. To me, it's very obvious, but everybody is like, it's very normal for the husband to tell the wife off in public, or the wife telling the husband off in public, right? It's like
it's quite Asian,
Yeah, everybody treats it like very normal, but I just don't think I don't think this should be done in public.
Yeah. I've witnessed it among strangers, people I don't know, like at a traffic light.
Yeah.
This was like ages ago when I could still run, and it was red light, so I had to press the thing, right? Then I was like jogging on the spot. Then this Asian couple, come next to me, and no, actually, I can't remember what happened. I came after they were there first. Then I came. I was like, how come still not light never changed? No, like I look, oh, never pressed. So I just pressed. And then the wife, she was so embarrassed that they had been standing there for quite a while and they didn't press. She turned around, she whacked the husband like that, and she said, "Why you never press?" Like she was just triggered by that embarrassment. I just pressed. I mean, if you didn't press, you didn't press lah. It's okay.
Yeah.
Big deal. We forget all the time, And because I'm jogging, I like want to get going, right?
Yeah.
She whacked him. I got a fright, I was like, what is going on? Then she said, why you never press? Then he went like he was so embarrassed that she did that.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh.
If they can do that in public, can you imagine what they do in private?
Yeah, like why did you have to do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't even have to say anything. Maybe you just came. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like 2 seconds.
Or just laugh about it.
Yeah.
Like it's so dumb. We stand here for so long, we didn't press.
Correct.
I mean, it can be.
Sometimes at the lift, right? We are just standing there assuming that someone else pressed or whatever.
Yeah. So I think husband and wives, if they can use each other in a good way as good drugs, they will probably laugh about it. Like taking the example that you, right? It's like, we're whatever, right? Or we're so absent-minded, or laugh about it. Then the relationship is just nice, that they can they have a good sense
accepting and forgiving and find a humor in situations, right?
Yes. But then that's a good example of a bad drug. But like what you said is very Asian and is very common. So much so that they treat each other like their
servants,
children.
Children, okay.
Like if so the wife becomes the mother, forcing the husband to be the child, or the husband becomes the father, forcing the wife to become the daughter. It's so common. Or it could be a complete, like they're fighting for power. Each one wants to be the parent and trying to thumb the other one down. And
power struggle.
And you just think, why are you even married to each other?
Yeah. That is a very bad that's a very bad sign when there's power struggle, I feel, in a marriage.
Yeah. It's a very bad sign. But then, when they're in it, they think it's normal. They think that it's, but relationships got ups and downs, so it's okay. But no, the way you communicate with each other, right? You know that something is so bad that it's so dysfunctional. They don't even know it is dysfunctional.
It's systemic, actually. It's not like sometimes bad things happen. No, it's not that. It's ingrained in the relationship, the dynamic.
And I think people find it hard to leave because of this, right? It's been normalized, so they don't seek help. They don't think there's anything they can do, especially at midlife. Like, we're already so old, and what's the point? A lot of these kind of excuses, then they're just miserable for the rest of their lives. The end.
Yeah.
And they call it love. No, it's just a drug.
Maybe they feel, you are so awful, but I still love you. Am I not wonderful that I'm still sticking by you, even though you're so many faults? Yeah. And I don't even like you sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's true what you say. They think that it's normal, that it's supposed to be like that one. When you're married for 20, 30 years, it's like that. No, I don't believe it's like that. It's
Yeah,
not
I also
supposed to be
don't.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not supposed to be like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
You're supposed to, when you're with someone for so long, you're supposed to become healthier and healthier if you are growing, right? You don't become worse and worse.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
Yeah, I think the
yeah,
regression is quite scary.
yes. You're supposed to be able to dance better together, right?
Yeah,
Initially, it's awkward and difficult, but
yeah.
yeah, you learn to do it
Mm,
beautifully. Yeah,
yeah,
as you grow older together.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I also hear this comment quite a bit, like wives will say, "Oh, um, anyway, we are quite happy when our husbands have to travel for business because, yeah, we don't want to see
Mm,
them so often." I really dislike hearing that.
mm,
So one of my friends said that to me over lunch. So I'm quite happy, when my husband travels because yeah, I have time to myself, the house to myself, blah blah blah. And I just looked at her and I said, "Tell that to the widows." It just came out. I was like, "You really don't know what you're saying," and that's
yeah,
awful. Yeah,
yeah.
awful on so many levels. Yeah, and I
Mm,
have so many widow friends who are so still sorrowing. A part of
yeah.
them is still sorrowing. Yeah, and I feel very sad for them. Yeah. So
Mm,
when people who have their husbands or wives around and who say that, it's usually the wife who will say it. Okay. Always say, "Wow, you really do not wish that for yourself." Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's also a sign, right? There's something not right already in the relationship, but they think it's normal. That's just very, very dysfunctional.
I think maybe they never actually got to a level of their relationship where I think it's quite superficial, the
Yeah,
marriage.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Funny as it sounds, a marriage can be superficial.
yeah. I think it happens a lot. If you just look around you, you observe the married friends that you have, you know the whether there is depth or not, or whether it's just so superficial. Like they have done their due diligence, right? They provided for their home, then there's nothing already. Then the a part of your I feel a part of your spirit will feel like a sense of dissatisfaction. Then you will always be very unhappy with that person, right? With your spouse, but you don't know why. And I think because there is a lack of internal, I think intimacy, not
Mm,
physical, emotional and intellectual intimacy, when
mm,
that is missing, right, your inner spirit, I feel,
mm,
will be so dissatisfied. And you're not
mm.
going to,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's why, people will pick on their spouse, like, oh, they can't see beyond. Yeah. It's
Mm,
it's hard. I think when people don't grow together, I think that's the hardest. That's one of the hardest
yeah.
in relationships. You can't It's very hard to survive a marriage or relationship where one doesn't want to grow. It's very difficult. Yeah.
Maybe they're just people who cannot go deeper than that also. They just don't have the capacity.
Mm,
Yeah, I believe there are people like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they could be, uh, you know, high functioning, seem very normal and successful, but they just don't have the capacity internally, interiorly to go deep in connections with
That is
spouse
true.
or other people. Yeah.
That is most people in the world, isn't it?
Maybe that's why we're always hearing all these same comments.
I think so.
But you know, it's so lovely to see spouses whom you know have depth.
Yes.
And they are like the expert champion dancers of the world, you know. Yeah, the ones that can spin around, and yeah, it's just very inspiring, and I love to observe people like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Then you also have those who pretend to have depth. Who are always talking about how well they treat their spouse, where they take their spouse, where they go. But it's all again very superficial, right? I mean, it's like what you do.
Yes.
Whether your
Yes.
emotional and intellectual
Yes.
intimacy is there is a different thing.
Correct. Yes. It's doing, not being.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're doing together, doing things together, not being together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the doing that distracts you from focusing on being together.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
And maybe you're doing that because you don't want to deal with the just being together, because maybe when you don't do anything, it doesn't work. You know?
Or you
Yeah.
don't like the person, maybe.
Yeah.
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 Ugh. Thinking about this, like how I cannot imagine how people can carry on to use their life partner as a drug and to just go through life that way and not being able to be truly at peace or be happy and be okay with that, like to live that way for the rest of their lives.
I also feel some, mostly women, they depend a lot on their husbands. Yeah.
That's true.
By right, they actually don't need to. They are fully capable of taking care of themselves. But for whatever reason, the marriage has become like that, where the husband is the one kind of taking care of everything, you know, whether the husband works, the wife doesn't, or the husband is the one, if they work together, the lead in that partnership, and is always the one organizing things and driving them around, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, I know many women like that. And I think they've been lulled into that headspace where, this is so comfortable. You know, I don't have to make decisions. I don't have to take care of things. My husband does everything, including cleaning the house.
Yeah.
You know, and what if one day your husband is not there?
Exactly.
And that could well happen, right? Life is so unpredictable.
Yep.
Yeah. So to me, that kind of drug is very scary, because once husband is not there, you're gonna suffer a lot. Yeah, but they like it. They actually like it because life is easy.
Yeah.
I literally don't have to do anything. Yeah.
And I think this is like a slow cooker, you know. Something is brewing underneath, and the day will come when you. So I'm okay. Depends on the dynamics of the husband-wife relationship, right? Sometimes the husband likes to have control over everything because then it gives him control over the wife. And some men enjoy that, right? Complete control over the wife, and the wife is like, okay, I'm happy not being in charge. You control everything. So okay, you know, maybe dysfunctional, but then they're happy doing that, fine. But I wanted to share something about a friend recently who told me that his wife used to be very dependent on him. And then so he said it's quite annoying. So he's been teaching her to do certain things so that she doesn't need him to do certain things.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, that's good. I said, so what is she how is she taking it, you know? And she said, oh, she just do her own thing lah. Then I said, okay, but you need to watch for the signs. When a woman is very happy not needing you, you must watch what's the next step after that. Yeah. You know, where you know, when in relationships, right? Sometimes if the dynamic shifts and then nobody's talking about it, then they start drifting. Like they didn't have a conversation as to how, okay, so I'm teaching you to be more independent. You can do things by yourself. Like if you have a proper conversation and you allow things to just evolve in a natural way, that's okay. But if this is you saying, I don't want to help you so much because then you're relying on me so much, and she says, okay, I feel okay. I think there's something brewing. So I told him, I said, you need to ask more questions, you know, like she said, oh, but I'm very happy at my peace now. I see her, but is she? Very different.
I guess it depends on what they become independent of. Yeah. I mean, if it's teaching them certain things like life skills.
Yeah.
Changing the car tire or whatever lah. When there's a blackout, what do you do? Which switches to turn on?
Yeah.
I think those are great. But you do not teach her how to spend how to deal with your constant absence.
Yeah.
Okay, like if because you want to be constantly absent, because you want to be with your friends to do certain things. Dangerous. Yeah.
Yes.
In that sense, yes. Because she will like, okay, people are very adaptable.
Yeah.
And they will find replacements for how to spend their time.
Exactly.
Happily. Yeah.
And if you're at midlife, and you actually, when you reach midlife, right, you have in a sense more independence because your kids are already grown. You are not obligated to stay. The chances of wives walking out is very high.
Yeah.
Very common, right? I mean, a lot of wives they leave at midlife. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're not condoning,
of course.
Extramarital affairs or just walking out or whatever. Yeah. But it is human nature.
Yes.
Yeah. You do not. Yeah. Absenteeism is not something to be trifled with.
Yeah.
Because, and don't think you're being smart by, introducing her to some new hobby or, getting her a dog or whatever, a cat. Someone, somewhere, something will replace you for life.
Yeah. Yeah. People turn to different drugs.
Yes. It's like there's so many out there. Come on.
Yeah. Have you had an experience where someone like very, very clearly used you as a drug, and how did you deal with it?
I think I do. I think I did tell you about this friend of mine was talking at me. Whenever whenever I have lunch with this friend, I really think that she needs me as just a passive audience, a spectator in the drama of her life. And she's so energized when she talks at me. She's high. She's almost like you could describe her as high functioning high. Yeah. So if that's not using me as some sort of oxygen tank or vitamin B12 shot, I don't know what that is. Yeah. And then I get so tired and exhausted just paying attention to things I do not even want to hear about.
Funny, right? When you have friends like that, and then in their minds, they consider you a good friend.
Yeah.
Which then made me think, I know everything about you because you keep spilling your guts, but you know nothing about me. You know, it's that kind of feeling, and you know this is not a even friendship, and I'm just
and it's not only about things about you, about me. It's also how do I feel about certain things, things that are happening in the world or just situations in life. Like, hey, what's your opinion? You don't know all these things. And if you don't know all these things, then you don't know me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel that friends like that, they don't bother to want to know your point of view. Yeah. They just want you to know what's going on in their lives.
Yes.
They just want to pour everything out.
And then you become the ambivalent friend.
Yes. Sadly, you don't want to be, but
Yes.
how to battle this wall? It's like a wall,
Yeah. For people like that, I just don't see them so much, or I just don't see them at all. Yeah. When necessary, just text. If not, I don't bother anymore lah. Like when I was younger, I used to think, okay, we've known each other for a long time, let's maintain the friendship. But then I think about, but every time I'm so exhausted, after seeing this person, I'm just so exhausted. Then you just
Yeah. And I told this to someone else, a mutual friend, and this mutual friend looked at me and said, "That's why I don't want to meet her." I have felt this for so long. She said, you mean you just realized this about her? And I said, yeah, it didn't really manifest for me till lately. She said, oh, I don't know. I saw that like a long, long time ago. So I just couldn't take it. She said, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, well, okay, I'm definitely not imagining it.
Yeah. Do you think it's because she's more comfortable with you now, then that's why it's becoming like this? Or you think, I mean, this friend this friend experienced this thing longer than you, so
but I'm actually closer to this exhausting person than the other friend.
Oh, okay.
Is to her. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They're not very close, but there were occasions where we met up together. The three of us. Yeah. So maybe for me, when there's one more person, I don't feel it so much because it's shared.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of the stuff that were coming out from her were quite new. Yeah. So I was quite curious and, quite gobsmacked by all the drama, in her life. So maybe it was fine because I was taking it all in and listening and processing it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But now it's become a broken record, almost like a glitch, a brain glitch that it just keeps coming in the same stories or similar stories with slightly different people. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think with people like this, right, because they're like in a trance, right? They're just talking about, they don't even read your body language or your facial expressions. Like you're not interested,
Absolutely.
obviously not interested anymore. They still go on.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can be yawning and they still don't get it. Yeah.
Correct. Or glazed over already, and you're not even saying anything. Yeah. Or maybe you may make a comment that clearly is telling that person, stop it, or
But they still go on.
So I think it might be a mental disorder of sorts, a compulsion.
Could be. They just need to get it out of their system. But if the story keeps repeating, then it's just like what's going on in there, you.
Correct. Like, don't you remember what you tell people? I do. Yeah. More or less I do lah. If not, at least it's familiar. Like, I think I might have told you, that kind of thing,
Yeah. I've had this experience once where this person just go on, and we were sharing a cab together. And I was like, oh my God, please hurry up. Like, I cannot take this anymore.
Oh,
Like, part of me just wants to scream.
Yeah,
Wants to
and
jump
get out. Yes. Do a dangerous, life-threatening thing.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Like, enough, you know? And
yeah. I know.
it makes me wonder what is it about these conversations that make us feel so like we cannot sit with it, that we need to, like, we want to jump out of a moving car. Like, what is this? What is it about it? I've been thinking about this for a while because I suffer through it, right? Weekly. I mean, listening to my father, that's one. And then with people, right, like who, like in this person, you know, sharing a cab. And I've been thinking, what is it that they are saying? I mean, they're not saying anything horrible.
Yeah.
They are just
I know what you mean.
repeating.
Yeah.
But what is it that makes our skin crawl or
Okay.
makes us want to jump out of our bodies? What is it, you know?
Okay, I have a theory. For me, maybe it's a very personal thing. It's almost this denial of your existence there, or your needs there, as a friend, as a companion sharing the cab. It's just this total lack of awareness and respect even for your being. That's how I feel every time this happens. It's like I'm not there, no. I am not even a person that you're acknowledging. I don't know what I am. Yeah, it's like you're just throwing it out there into the wide world, like you're screaming at the sea or something, the ocean. Yeah, I don't feel like a person, treated like a person. That's what gets to me. Yeah.
I feel very dysregulated. Like my whole nervous system just like it makes my skin crawl. Yeah, it's funny, you know. Its sensation becomes very. It's so
pictic, right? You know the word pictic.
Yeah, I know that word, but it's not quite that. It's more like I want to jump out of my body, literally, that kind of feeling. Like I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're a prisoner.
Yes.
Held the hostage.
Yeah.
To this conversation.
Yes.
Kidnappers. Yeah. These are the kidnappers. Yeah.
And I obviously don't have Stockholm syndrome, so yeah. It's so uncomfortable.
Yes, there's that too. That feeling of being taken hostage, and you feel so helpless. You cannot escape. Right? Yeah.
I wrote an article about long-winded people, basically because my group of my masterminding group, the people when we first started was so long-winded that I literally want to jump out and leave the room, right? I'm like, stop! So I wrote an article about long-windedness, about how I feel I'm held hostage. And then I came up with a better way to to manage the whole group. Like, you must fill in this form and fill in what you're going to talk about.
You and your
For me, that's like structure and boundaries, right? So you write what you're going to talk about, and then I'll give you a limited time.
And now you have a bell, right?
We move on. Sorry, you gotta take this offline with that person. Move on. I cannot, like, people keep repeating themselves.
Yeah. It's the repeating. Yes. It's the belaboring the same point.
Yeah.
It's not new information most of the time.
Yeah. I think people do that because they need to convince themselves more than us listening. They want to believe what they're saying, so they keep repeating it.
To confirm their beliefs.
Yeah, that's one. Or either that or early onset of dementia lah.
That could be true, because I've heard the same things too. Yeah. Some things are new, but similar situations, and then there will be like old information dragged out for comparison.
for comparison.
Yeah, it's like, very jialat, no. Not only do I have to deal with this, then there's the old stuff that's being brought back out. Like, no, no, no.
You have to listen to it again.
Correct. Correct. And even when you try to switch the conversation, in the end, that person will always find a way to bring it back to her or him. Yeah, that's very rude, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think we've had encounters with mutual friends, right?
Yes.
On that. Yeah. It's tiring. It's tiring.
But with a group, it's not so bad. You know, you can just eat. You can just keep quiet and just, But when it's one-on-one, you can't ignore that person, right? Yeah.
Continue to eat.
Correct.
You know, there was a period of time in my life where I realized why I drink so much with this certain group of people, because I don't want to listen to them. I realized after that, my God, that's what I'm doing. I'm just drowning it out. I don't want to listen.
I don't blame you. Yeah, no, really. And I think that's very true for many people. Yeah. They'd rather just, because you are in a different state of mind when you drink. You know, everything is okay. Yeah. I mean, my experience with alcohol is that everyone just seems nicer and just easier to talk to and to bear. Yeah. And I become friendlier too. That's the drug that happens when you're being used as a drug, you know?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
There's always repercussions, right?
Yes. Yes. I remember this occasion very, very distinctly, and this was like a very long time ago. And I'm supposed to go for dinner with this group. And my first thought was, I wonder if they have alcohol. And then I thought to myself, why did I think that? Like, why did I? And I realized, there are these two people in the group that will go on talking and I cannot take it.
Yeah.
And then after that, I stopped going, having meals with them.
Yeah. And it's more real than we realize, you know, this, I hope there's alcohol, really is no joke. I mean, we laugh about it, you know, because we don't drink and we just think it's funny and like so extreme. But it's very real for many people, very poor thing. I just feel very sorry for them. Yeah. Like, if you have to drink to bear my company, let's not meet. I don't want to do that to you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so awful.
Exactly.
Or I mean, for those of us who don't drink, we're like, I hope the food is good, you know, at least we can like stuff our faces and enjoy the food.
Yeah. But I'm still an occasional drinker. I drink not to drown people out. I used to, but you know, now I just occasionally just enjoy, you know. And I'm when you say some people, poor thing, they have no choice but to drink, like those who drink with their family.
Because they can't bear their families.
Yeah, I think that's quite sad. It's quite common.
Ayo, so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there are just some people who they don't feel they can perform socially without alcohol.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. No matter who what company, and they can be very nice people whom they are spending time with, they just cannot, because they feel it's me. It's not you. I just will be not right. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they suffer from some form of anxiety.
Yes. Yes. And I think that's very, very sad. Yeah. It's almost like I feel like it's like me when I wake up in the morning and I feel like, the sniffles are coming on. I need my Telfast D. I cannot function otherwise. Yeah. It's almost like that. I have to tell you, one of my church friends, I bumped into her yesterday and she said, I love watching she only watches the snippets lah, you know, and she says, you've outed me so many times. She said, we didn't talk about her. Yeah, but she said, you know, this thing about wives giving excuses that the husband don't want and I must She said, wow, I really cracked up, and I said, that's me. Yeah, but it was very nice that she was so open about and then she said, y'all are really like just picking up the phone and just talking to each other, no? Be like that, you know? That's why it's very natural, and free flowing. And she, I like that, the fact that it's like that.
That's nice.
Yes.
Nice to get this kind of feedback.
Correct. Yeah.